You're driving. Nothing special is happening. Traffic's fine, the sun's doing its thing, you're just existing. Then a song comes on. Not even your favorite song necessarily, just a song. And right at a certain moment, a key change, a vocal leap, a swell in the strings. Something happens to your body that you did not authorize. Goosebumps, a tightening in your chest, a wave that starts at your scalp and rolls down your spine like your skin, just remembered something your brain forgot. You didn't ask for this. Nobody warned you. You were just sitting there, minding your own business, and a sequence of sound waves reached into your nervous system and pulled a lever. Here's the thing that should stop you cold when you actually sit with it. Music is not food. It's not a threat. It's not a mate, a predator, a warm fire, or anything your ancient biology evolved to care about. It is, technically speaking, just air vibrating in a pattern, and yet that vibrating air can make your body respond as if something enormous is happening. Heart rate shifts, skin conductance spikes, in some people, actual tears. For a species whose entire evolutionary story is built around efficiency, around not wasting energy on things that don't matter for survival, this is bizarre. Why would evolution let something so biologically pointless hijack your physiology so completely? Let's actually dig into it because, like most things worth explaining, it's not one clean answer. It's a stack of overlapping systems, and once you see how they fit together, you will never listen to music the same way again. Start with the term itself because scientists don't just call this chills. The formal name is Frisson, borrowed from French, meaning a shiver or thrill. And researchers have been studying seriously since the 1980s. Not everyone gets it. Estimates suggest somewhere between 50 and 80% of people experience frisson regularly, which means a meaningful chunk of the population is reading this going, chills from music? What? And that gap alone tells you something important. This isn't a universal reflex like blinking. It's something layered on top of baseline human wiring, shaped by individual brains, individual histories, individual sensitivities. So before we even get to why it happens, we already know it's not simple. Let's talk about the prediction machine sitting inside your skull, because this is where the real story begins. Your brain, at every waking moment, is not passively receiving the world. It's predicting it, constantly. It builds a model of what's about to happen next based on everything it has already experienced, and then it checks reality against that model in real time. This isn't some fringe theory. Hey, it's one of the dominant frameworks in modern neuroscience, sometimes called predictive processing. Your brain is essentially a very sophisticated guessing machine that's mildly obsessed with being right. Music is basically a playground built entirely out of expectation. A melody sets up a pattern. Your brain, without you consciously doing anything, starts predicting where that pattern goes next. Which note comes after this one? When the beat will land, whether the chord resolves the way chords in that key usually resolve. Composers, whether they know the neuroscience or not, have understood this instinctively for centuries. They build up expectation and then, right at the peak, they do something slightly unexpected. A note that shouldn't be there. A pause that goes a half second longer than it should. A key change that pulls the floor out from under you for just a moment before catching you again. Researchers studying frisson have found that these violated expectations, technically called appoggiaturas in some musical contexts, moments where a dissonant note delays the resolution you're braced for, are among the most reliable triggers for chills across almost every study on the subject. Here's why that matters biologically. When your brain's prediction gets violated, especially in a context that's emotionally significant, it doesn't just shrug. It fires an alert. A small burst of heightened attention and arousal, the same basic machinery your body would use if something unexpected happened in the actual physical world. Except here, there's no danger attached to it. It's a false alarm your body still finds thrilling, because it's happening inside a container it already knows is safe. You're getting the electricity of surprise without any of the risk. That combination, arousal without threat, is rare. Your nervous system doesn't get many chances to feel that jolt for free. Now, let's talk about dopamine, because this is where the story gets genuinely strange. A landmark study out of McGill University, published in Nature Neuroscience back in 2011, put people inside PET and fMRI scanners while they listened to music that reliably gave them chills. The researchers were specifically looking at the yuck's brain's reward circuitry, the same dopamine pathways involved in eating, in sex, in drugs. Basically, everything evolution built to make sure you keep doing things that helped your ancestors survive and reproduce. And they found something remarkable. Dopamine wasn't just released when the chills hit, it was released beforehand, during the anticipation, climbing as the emotionally powerful moment approached, and then peaking again at the moment of the chill itself. Think about what that means. Your brain is rewarding you twice, once for correctly anticipating that something powerful is coming, and once for the payoff itself. That's the exact same structure your reward system uses for things that matter for your survival: food when you're hungry, and the anticipation of finding food. And here, music, something with zero caloric or reproductive value, has apparently found a backdoor into that same ancient reward circuitry. It's not supposed to be there, it got in anyway. This is where things connect to something deeper, something almost unsettling if you think about it for too long. Your brain does not have a specialized music appreciation organ that evolved specifically to enjoy songs. Music, evolutionarily speaking, is new. Far too new for a dedicated organ to have developed around it. So what's actually happening is that music is borrowing, hijacking really, systems that evolved for completely different reasons. The prediction and reward circuitry that helps you navigate uncertainty in your environment, that helps you learn which sounds in the wild mean something important. A branch snapping, a predator's call, a baby crying. All of that machinery gets repurposed the moment it encounters a well-composed piece of music. You're not built to enjoy music specifically. You're built to enjoy your own brain being right about the world, and music has figured out an unusually elegant way to trigger that feeling on demand. There's also a social layer to this that almost never gets discussed, and it might be one of the most important pieces of the whole puzzle. Music, for the overwhelming majority of human history, was not something you listened to alone through headphones on a commute. It was communal. Chanting, singing, drumming, ritual, ceremony, all of it happening in groups, often synchronized, often tied to bonding, mourning, celebration, or preparation for something significant, like a hunt or a battle. Some researchers argue that the physiological response we now call chills evolved originally as a piggyback on that older, more primal function. The same neural machinery involved in bonding and belonging, in feeling the presence of your group around you, getting activated by coordinated sound. There's a reason a stadium full of people singing the same song at the same time produces a sensation that a private listen through earbuds rarely matches. At the same intensity, the chill isn't just about the notes. It's about the ancient part of your brain that still associates synchronized sound with tribe, with safety in numbers, with something bigger than you being present in the room. Now here's something that doesn't fit neatly into either category, prediction or bonding, and it's worth sitting with because it complicates the whole picture in an interesting way. Personality matters. A lot. Researchers studying who gets chills and who doesn't have consistently found a correlation with a personality trait called openness to experience, one of the 5 major traits used in modern psychology. People who score high on openness, people who tend to be imaginative, emotionally responsive, drawn to novelty and aesthetic experience, are significantly more likely to report frisson regularly. This isn't a small effect either. Some studies have found openness to be one of the strongest individual predictors of who gets chills from music at all, which means this isn't purely a universal biological reflex sitting the same way in every human nervous system. It's an interaction between hardwired prediction and reward circuitry and something closer to a stable personality trait, how emotionally permeable a given brain tends to be to aesthetic experience in general. And that connects to something else researchers have found, which is that people who get musical chills tend to also report more vivid responses to other aesthetic experiences entirely unrelated to sound. A stunning landscape, a powerful piece of visual art, a moment in a film. There appears to be something like a general trait of aesthetic sensitivity running underneath all of it. And music, because of its unique relationship with time, expectation, and memory, just happens to be an unusually efficient way of triggering it. Memory is the next piece, and it's a big one. A huge percentage of frisson-inducing moments aren't from songs a person is hearing for the first time. They're tied to music loaded with personal significance, a song from a specific relationship, a song from a funeral, a song that was playing during some formative, unrepeatable moment in someone's life. The brain regions involved in musical chills, particularly areas connected to the limbic system, the amygdala, and the hippocampus, are the exact same regions deeply involved in emotional memory formation and retrieval. When a specific musical phrase arrives that's entangled with a powerful memory, you're not just hearing a sound anymore, you're re-triggering a stored emotional state. And the chill is partly your nervous system reliving something instead of merely perceiving something. This is part of why the same song can chill one person to the bone and do absolutely nothing for the person sitting next to them. The notes are identical. The neural context loaded behind those notes is not. There's a final layer worth mentioning because it's easy to forget how physical all of this actually is. Chills aren't just a mental experience happening somewhere abstract behind your eyes. They involve your actual autonomic nervous system, the same branch of your body that controls heart rate, breathing, and the fight or flight response. Studies measuring skin conductance, essentially how much your skin sweats in response to arousal, have found measurable spikes during musical chill moments. The same kind of spike you'd get from a sudden fright or an adrenaline surge. Your body, quite literally, does not fully distinguish between the physiological signature of being moved by a symphony and the physiological signature of encountering something genuinely startling. The wiring underneath is shared. Music has simply found a way to pull that lever without any actual danger attached, which might be the closest thing your nervous system has to a completely safe thrill ride. So what is a chill really when you put all the pieces on the table together? It's your prediction machine getting pleasantly ambushed. It's ancient reward circuitry, built for food and survival, firing for a pattern of vibrating air instead. It's a leftover echo of communal bonding rituals older than written language. It's a personality trait determining how permeable your emotional walls are to begin with. It's memory reactivating itself through sound. And it's your actual nervous system, the same one that would fire if a branch snapped behind you in the dark, deciding that a chord progression counts as significant enough to sound the alarm. Just gently, just enough to raise the hair on your arms instead of sending you running. Which means the next time a song catches you off guard, that wave rolling down your spine in traffic, at a concert, alone in your room at 2 in the morning. That's not some random glitch in your biology. That's tens of thousands of years of prediction, memory, bonding, and reward circuitry, all built for entirely different purposes, briefly agreeing that this moment, this exact arrangement of sound, deserves your full and undivided attention. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It's paying you one of the strangest compliments it knows how to give.